at the NFL draft, also with Stephen Wang, the SuperDraft CEO. Steve, so happy to have you on. So excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate the time. And honestly, what is this? What's this in the background here? We got Doc has the ceiling. You've got this beautiful. What is it? A painting in the back there? What's going on?
I don't know. It just it's hard to sweet. I guess this girl is
Doing
It's
some
an
sort of.
athletic body doing she's hurdling something.
doing a broad jump of some sort. So
There we go.
I figure that's a little nice background.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. And I think the one exciting story today is, again, you're at the NFL draft. You're promoting SuperDraft, one of the most fantasy sports draft, yeah, I guess, software out there, right?
Yeah. It's a daily fantasy sports. We do. You can log into SuperDraft and play in the contest. You can draft players. Right now we got golf going on. Started today. It's a 4-day tournament. We
Okay.
have baseball every day, and we have NBA finals going on. So there's three big, and of course NHL is always in the background. But so we have, there's this app we built. We throw a few $1,000s of prizes out there every day you could compete for.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like DraftKings and FanDuel.
Just yeah, I honestly I think it's a super interesting direction that individuals can go into, with the sports world or sports betting world blowing up within the last couple of years. It's definitely definitely something that would help maybe every avid sports fan, and maybe you hear Dr. Jeff Pierce next to you might be jumping on board to put some fantasy thoughts in maybe golf and not pick up Bryson DeChambeau, because we always talk about the wrist and how he's not exactly on the up to par per se, but I think that's the other reason why Doc Pierce wanted you to come on board today, is we're talking about wrist, and he mentioned that you have this technology of ergonomics and how it can also bring in prevention into not only individuals in their office place, but also in the video game world as well.
Yeah, there's well, back in 1995, I started this company, and I noticed by the late 90s, computer mouse just started to take off, and there's a lot of graphic user interface that requires a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, we were building accelerator boards to make computers go faster with better graphics and high resolution graphic cards. So one of the application that people use really took off in the early 2000s is a software called AutoCAD.
Okay.
Which a lot of people use to do civil engineering, building design. So a lot of the users from our graphic business that uses AutoCAD were experiencing wrist pains.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I heard about, wow, you can develop repetitive strain injuries from using a mouse all day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was we pursued it. I decided to take a very innovative approach, which is partner up with a mechanical engineer named Les Senna, and he was at a point he couldn't work on the computer for more than half an hour a day.
Wow.
So as a mechanical drafting person, it's kind of carpal tunnel and it's basically a career-ending thing. So we started working on. We developed several concepts, and gradually we started developing a shape of a mouse that he felt less pain with. So he would build a model, use it for a while, felt like, I think it would be more comfortable in this position. So we use pain as pain as an indicator.
Data point, yep.
As input to find out where we go. Eventually, we settled on a shape after about 2 years of research, 20, 30 different models we built over time.
My goodness.
We found a shape where he can actually not experience any pain for a full 8-hour day. And I thought we just invented the next best thing since sliced bread. So
Yeah.
we funded the project. We went into manufacturing, and then the product took off. And I just learned that if you put the wrist, the hand in a different posture than what the conventional mouse grip is.
Okay.
Which is the conventional mouse is a lot of flexor tendons trigger through the carpal tunnel. When you do this, the tendon goes in and out to the muscles through your carpal tunnel. If you quiet that down by using more of the patting action versus a pull action.
Okay.
And that was it. It was right there. We found a shape that allows the user to pat on the button instead of
pounding on it.
Instead of pounding on it. And that was it was a breakthrough, and it still is. 25 years, 30. It's almost 30 years now. 28 years. We're still selling that bike, and there are people that keeps on buying it because they realize there's no other mice that fits their, and it comes in different sizes. So that was a great journey.
So just to take a step back on talking about carpal tunnel and talking about the anatomy, that's exactly right. I mean, what a lot of people did to begin with when we started working with computers and mouses, you were in a forward flex position. So if you can see my hand, this is considered the neutral position. The number one worst position is down like this. The number two worst position is up into full extension. Your ideal position is slightly at about 15 to 30 degrees of extension, so it takes away those flexors. Because really, when you break down the carpal tunnel, what's going through there is all the ligaments in one vein called the median nerve. So when the median nerve gets compressed, which is what Steve's talking about, is that you want to avoid that compression onto the wrist, right below the crease between where your hand and the wrist goes. That's where all the anatomy is, on the bottom side of it. So your palmar side of it is right here. So you start looking at this area, and then we start predicting. You can see it or no?
Yeah, move it over a little closer to your face.
Closer.
There you go, right there. You got it.
There we go. So the median nerve runs through here, which is the main nerve for carpal tunnel. It is the nerve for carpal tunnel, but all the ligaments run through there. So what's going on? It's like a rubber band that holds everything into place. So when you get inflamed muscles, like you mentioned, the flexor tendons, when all that starts overworking, overuse, and becomes irritable, it inflames the whole area and irritates the nerve. A lot of people start getting classic symptoms of numbness and tingling in what we call the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger. Those are classic. Those are the ones that are easy to diagnose. What we're trying to do, and it's so funny, I just had a person yesterday in the office who is a design person who's working with the mouse, and has early signs of it. We did a nerve test. You can do it's called an EMG nerve test to look at the velocity. So we look at the speed of the nerves, and we also look to see if there's any damage to the nerves by investigating the muscle. So he had early signs. So we know by the speed what's going on. So we know that you're causing compression. With this gentleman, it's early on in his career. He's only 33 years old. So if he continues working it, he's going to eventually have more clinical symptoms, more issues, and eventually surgery. So we always talk, and what Steve's developed is a prevention tool for those people that are spending hours and hours and hours. I mean, I got guys spending 60 hours a week on a computer with a mouse and just pushing through it. We always talk about proper ergonomics, proper body position, proper workstations. Those are the things you need to do to prevent it. But now we've taken a step further in looking at the equipment you're using, the keyboards you're using, the mouse that you're using. Those are the things that are vital. And when you're young and you're in a job and you're just in a bad workstation or you're working from home, this is going to be a wear and tear type of thing. You can get away for a couple of years, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. So very important.
Yes, and I think going back to Steve Wang and talking about the ergonomics of that mouse and talking about actually clicking on it instead of pulling at it, I think my question to you, Doc, is if I have my hand say on a table and I'm holding a mouse, should I be putting my wrist on the ground and putting my hand over it, or like was he saying, am I needing to kind of give that elevation a little bit to give my wrist that break instead of putting it on that ground?
You definitely want a slight elevation. You definitely want a slight elevation. So like I said, you want to be in that 15 to 30 degrees of extension. By putting your hand straight out, that's considered neutral. Going up is extension, going down is flexion. So the way the mouse is designed early on is that you're always pushing down, you're grabbing the front of it. So you had to extend your hand over it into a flex position. Mm-hmm. He's changed the ergonomics on how you approach the mouse to take those pressures off. The last thing you want to do is create compression in that area right where the wrist and the, your arm bones come in, to be simple. That's where the nerve is. It does not respond well to compression. And then we can get into treatments and things like that. So I think Steve's showing you.
Our mouse is designed out of one size fit all, which they tend to make most mice small, so it fits every hand.
Okay.
We have 5 different sizes, so what we do is we try to stretch and open the hand up, so it's like what I call the open-handed grip that avoids compression. So our mouse is actually kind of relatively high in the front of the button, so you're not reaching down your finger. The finger actually is up in this position.
Okay.
So you kind of feel like you're pushing almost like in an open hand grip, and we don't allow you to go into a flex position and pull. We actually block that out. So we're blocking out the flexors tendons from your mousing, and it creates more of a patting action with your finger versus pulling action.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wish I had a mouse here.
You know what? I think we can definitely.
I love the hand model.
We can definitely once we.
I got a break for 1 second. I'm watching these private jets fly in below our suite right now. We're on the 70th floor here, and I'm watching this private jet fly in nice and easy. So just to give you a view of what we got distracted over here.
Well, honestly, on that note, I'm up against it. Spencer's yelling at me, but Steve, I truly appreciate the time and the understanding of your technology and how you're changing the game when it comes to ergonomics of the mouse and how it will help out not only us understand a little bit more about risk issues and risk things going on in the workplace, but we also have a little springboard moving into our medical topic of the week. So truly appreciate the time today and looking forward to hearing more and send some of those mice our way, and we can try and play with them around here and actually give some more of a in-depth work on it.
Okay, we'll do.
You're welcome to stay onto our injury report if you want.
Yeah. If you want to join in on that injury report. But thanks again for